All right, here we go. Spanking our kids. Debate that always gets your attention, I'm sure. Well, could a swat on the bottom actually be good for our kids? A new study says, hey, they're better off. A survey of 179 teenagers found the kids spanked between the ages of 2 and 6 were more adjusted as young adults, did better in school, even volunteered more in the community. It also found the older kids, those spanked between the ages of 7 and 11, the downside, they're slightly more aggressive, but these kids still fared better. The study also took into account teenage depression, sexual activity, so not a lot of downsides other than the 7 to 11 being a little more aggressive. What do you think of this? You buying it? Call in, 1-877-TEL-HLN's the number. Joining me now to talk about it, we welcome back Renee Seiler, author of the book, Good Enough Mother, her website, goodenoughmother.com. Renee, good to have you back. And also joining us, we welcome back as well, clinical psychologist Michelle Golland, her website, she's part of momlogic.com. Let's get some calls in, ladies. Let's see what the folks are saying out there. Read some Facebook comments, then let you guys chime in. Let's start with Joe in Illinois. Joe, spanking, good? Can it be, you buying this study that these kids that were spanked were better adjusted, better academically, and more volunteer work?
Yeah, I think so. I've spanked my children. I'm not talking about beating them up or anything, but I've gave them corporal punishment, and I believe it should be back in schools too. That's why the kids today are the way they are. They're out of control.
So you think we're a little lax with our kids, and that's trouble, huh? So a good swat is a good thing, huh?
I think so. Yeah, okay. It worked with me. It worked with my kids, and I completely think that it should be brought back into schools also.
All right. I'm full disclosure here. I mean, I give my guys a swat every now and then, nothing too much. I'm not sure I like someone else spanking my kids. Different debate. Let's get a couple of Facebook comments in. This is from Margot writing, my mom hit me once, and I am so scared no one should justify laying a hand on a child. Bonnie S. writes this on Facebook. Butts are padded for a nice reason. A little swat never hurt anyone. All right, let's get our experts in on this. Michelle Golland, start with you.
Yes.
Spanking in a controlled way, effective or not?
Well, you know what? Again, I think the problem with these sorts of studies are, Mike, that we don't know how these kids were spanked. And when we talk about spanking and we put it out there to the public that spanking is okay, we're not advocating spanking in a controlled manner. I think what we need to do is educate about if spanking is okay, even if it's done in a controlled manner. That I'm not even sure about how effective that is. I don't think it's that effective compared to positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement with children. And again, teaching a child that if you're upset or your friend does something wrong, do you spank them? Do you hit them? I mean, that's what you're showing
Those
them
are your concerns.
as what you do.
Okay, Renee.
Yeah.
Renee, I know you're not the perfect mom, but you've done a pretty good job. Did you a couple of swats here and there, or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. My only concern is that when you have a child who is in imminent danger and very young, perhaps too young to be able to reason with, say 2 years old, getting ready to reach out and touch a hot stove or run into the street, I don't know how effective reasoning and loss of reinforcement is to them at that moment. I think you need to take immediate action and make sure they understand that they are in imminent danger and imminent harm.
Michelle, real quick on that. Dangerous situation?
I understand those situations, and even parents who don't advocate spanking regularly would possibly do that. But that, when you put out in the public that spanking in general is okay, even this author can understand that's not what is being told to the general public. I mean, if your only option of discipline to your child is that, oh, if they grab the wrong toy or they tell you, no, I don't want dinner, and you give them a smack, I mean, that's what gets interpreted by the general public, and that's a huge problem.
Right.
I'm not talking about what you're talking about.
Right, and the author...
It's not the same.
And the author did say this, that this is not a green light for spanking kids, but should be a red light for lawmakers who want to outlaw spanking. So I think that's where the author's coming from. Kind of agreeing with you on that, Michelle. Let's get another call in. Carol's with us in Virginia. Carol, spank? No? Your thoughts?
No. There is never a need to spank. Spanking is a form of violence. It teaches children violence. There's enough violence in this world. I have witnessed firsthand a family member who has spanked their children, and I have witnessed and seen firsthand the bullying that the children they did at ages, this goes from about 3 to age 7. I have seen nightmares, tantrums, wedding, learning problems, eating disorders.
Carol, let me ask you this, and again, was this violent spanking? Was this...
It was spanking with the paddle.
Okay, so was the parent out of control when they did it?
No, the parents aren't out of control when they did it, but
they used a paddle. Okay.
The children were complaining, and obviously it bothered them to the point that they were talking about it and asking, is it right, and if we do it.
Okay.
And if you question the prisoners, that most of them have been spanked. It's an easy way out for parents that are so busy today. We are all given a mind.
Well, but see, that's not why I don't spank my kids.
Hold it. Carol, thanks. So a couple of things to hit on there. Michelle, I'll let you have first shot, then Renee. The paddle, I don't think a lot of people would agree with that. Who wants in?
Right, but the other
Michelle,
caller, again, the problem is, you know, we can advocate, no, you're not supposed to spank when you're angry, but that's what happens. Face it, that's what happens.
Right.
People spank and are physically aggressive to their children when they are out of control, and they're mostly releasing their own anger and their own frustration. And one of the methods that I find that is most effective is a book called Magic 1, 2, 3. And what they do is it's about giving limits. It's about you being calm when you're angry and upset and needing to discipline the child, and using positive and negative reinforcement. I'm not talking about a 2-year-old running into the street. I would jump on top of my child if I had to stop them from running into the street.
Right.
You know, I mean,
but you mean you've never
talking
smacked
apples
a hand
and oranges
that was reaching
here.
out to a hot stove? You've never smacked a hand? Because you know what? If that makes me a bad person, then I'm a bad person, because I have smacked a hand that was reaching for a hot stove. Or I've actually, you know, I mean, hang on just a second. Let me finish. Or I have actually smacked my child who was, you know, behaving in an inappropriate manner in front of, you know, with another child. I mean, that's got some behavior has to stop.
I think that's humiliating.
Ladies, let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. A lot of calls still lined up. Facebook, chime in. It's a good debate as always. 1-877 tell HLN the number. Spanking or not, call in. As always, we love having you in on the conversation. Call in 1-877 tell HLN. Again, we're talking about a new spanking study saying that kids spanked from the ages of 2 to 6 actually better adjusted than those who were not spanked. They had better academically, had participated in more volunteer work as they became older. We're going to have an informal poll going on our Facebook page. Just go to our website, cnn.com/prime news. Click on the link to Facebook, and you can vote right now. 70% of those polled on our Prime News Facebook poll said yes, they do spank. So let's get another call in. Michelle's with us in Florida. Michelle, your thoughts?
Hey, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want to say, Mike, that I respect everyone's opinion, and as a professional educator who works with children, my colleagues and I, we agree that the students of today, they don't have consequences for their inappropriate behavior. In the past, there wasn't the ADHD label to use as a blame for certain behaviors. I myself was spanked. My colleagues were spanked. We grew up to be professionals who are leading the country. We vote. We haven't had criminal records.
Gotcha.
And our opinions matter. And the parents today, there's no boundaries, no consequences, and I do believe in spanking. Yes, sir.
Okay, Michelle, thanks for the call. Here's a Facebook comment kind of agreeing from Nita, writing, I got my share as a child and do believe that is why I turned out to be a good adult. Let's go back to Michelle Golland. Michelle, really not for spanking. I have that, I think, right, Michelle.
Well,
a lot of people say that. Let me say.
I wasn't, wait, Mike, I wasn't spanked, and I turned out really
good. You did.
good.
Of course you did, yes. well, let me say that, but a lot of people say, you know what, I was spanked and I turned out okay. What do you tell these people who are now parents?
To me, again, it's about education. It's about what we know now is better for self-esteem and understanding and connecting with your child. And I have to say, the other guest, she started off saying that it's about danger, that when her child was running into the street, when her child was reaching for a pot. And of course, in those moments when we're reacting, I would probably do the same thing. But then she went on to say that she also smacked her child when in front of another child when they were doing something inappropriate. Were they in danger?
I have to go and clarify, but I'll go ahead and let you finish.
Okay, go ahead, Renee.
I'll clarify when she's done.
Renee, go ahead.
I think I'd like clarification. Were they in danger? Yes, that you smacked your child
Michelle,
in front of...
And Michelle, here's what happened. When my children had play dates and they were hitting on another child or they were doing something that was inappropriate, the fastest way to correct that behavior, I'm not talking about 13-year-olds, I'm talking about 13-month-olds, was a quick swat on the bottom. That stopped it. I'm not saying that I beat my children senseless, but what I am saying... No, wait, Michelle, please.
Let her finish. Go ahead, Renee.
Michelle. But what I am saying is that there is a time and a place. My children are now 11 and 13, and they are fine. Do I swat them now? Of course not. But my point earlier was not that this is not about the imminent danger. That was one example, Michelle. You can't paint this entire thing with the one example I gave you, period.
Okay, let's get another call in, guys. Regina is with us in Tennessee. Regina, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I believe that parents need the right to use reasonable force to teach their kids right from wrong so that law enforcement won't have to do it.
So just a controlled SWAT, is that what you're advocating, Regina?
I am advocating using from when they're little, teaching them right from wrong, a controlled SWAT. And I'll guarantee you, when they go to somebody else who says, oh, your mother was wrong to do that, it's totally confusing, and that is when they're going to act out.
Okay, Regina, thanks so much. I'll let clock's ticking, ladies, but I want you guys to each have a final word on this. Michelle, I'll ask you, 5-year-old acting up, not in danger. You can't reason with a 5-year-old. Oh, and they're just battling you and battling you. Is that the time for a SWAT or not?
Absolutely not. That's a kindergartner. That's a child that should be put in a timeout or a chill out. And I have to say, Regina, for you to smack a 13-month-old because they hit another child, it just doesn't make sense to me.
My name is Renee. Renee. My name is Renee.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. But and the one thing I want to leave with you, Michelle, is that parenting is a very visceral thing. We do this from our gut level, but we also have to remember that what works for one doesn't work for another. And I think it's really inappropriate for you to call my parenting style inappropriate.
All right, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll leave it there. As always, it is a good debate. We love having you in on the conversation. Again, we got a poll going on our Facebook page, website, cnn.com/prime news. Click on the link, and you can vote whether or not it is a good thing to spank. New study says it's a good thing. All right, coming up, how about